Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In this week's video, I wanted to talk a little bit about Procreate. Procreate is the app that I use on my iPad and I do all of my digital art on there. I really love the app and it's definitely helped boost me and my business in ways that I didn't realise. For those of you who don't know, I own a very small business called Deli's Designs, and I basically turn my illustrations into stickers and cards and all sorts of goodies, and I love it so much. I'll leave all the links below for you if you want to check it out. But yeah, I just wanted to talk through Procreate a little bit. I've been using the app for about a year and a half-ish, and I remember when I first started, it was quite hard to get used to and there was a lot to learn and it can be quite frustrating. So I wanted to create this video, even though I'm sure this has been done many times, of just things that I've learned and hopefully help some people out, whether you want to just start drawing for fun or if you want to start your own business. I thought it would be helpful and useful to those who might need a bit of help, or even to those who use it and maybe didn't know some of these things. I'm not a professional, I'm not an expert, this is just what I've learned, and yeah, I just want to help people really. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so I've just opened the Procreate app and I have actually created a stack here. Because my page is a little bit messy. I'm just using an iPad 2018 or 19, I'm not sure, and the first generation Apple Pencil. You don't need an Apple Pencil for Procreate, but if you want a little bit more control with your drawings, then these are really good in my opinion. So yeah, I've created a stack of blank canvases here because I wanted to take you through. It is a bit of a mess here. And you can name your stacks as well. So if you just click where it says stack, you can then add in a name. So I'm just going to put canvases or canvas. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to open that. And there's a little plus sign here. If you click the plus sign, it will then bring up these options. Again, there's some extras here because I've added them. So it gives you some presets. I normally use A4 just because it works well for me and it means that I draw quite largely and then I can scale it down. If you click this little plus up here, it then brings up this where you can adjust in millimeters, centimeters, inches and pixels. Then you can just create your canvas and you can name them as well, so if there's something you're going to use a lot of the time. So I'm just going to use an A4 canvas, and then you can use your fingers to readjust the size, move it around and things. So the first thing I'm going to do is take you along the toolbar. So this spanner, so if you click the add, you can insert a file or photo, take a photo, add text, cut copy or copy canvas. I often use text and photos. So photos will take you to your camera roll, taking a photo will take you to your camera, and then adding text will bring up a text box and you can edit style, go through the fonts, change the style, the sizing. When you have the text highlighted, if you use the colour circle over here, you can actually change the colour of your text as well, however you fancy it, but I'll take you over the colour wheel properly in a minute. If you don't like what you've done, if you tap with 2 fingers, it will undo everything. And if you tap with 3 fingers, it will bring it back. Next is canvas, and this is where you can adjust your canvas and you can do some pretty cool stuff here. When I draw mandalas and things, I often turn the drawing guide on, edit drawing guide, and then you've got 2D grid, isometric, perspective and symmetry. So if you turn the assisted drawing on, it will help you with things like drawing straight lines. It will just kind of follow depending on what you've chosen drawing guide wise. My favourite is symmetry, and if you click options on symmetry, you've got vertical, horizontal, quadrant and radial. So you can zoom in right in with 2 fingers, and this is where you can just draw really pretty things, and I find it really therapeutic. If I edit drawing guide again, you can click this option called rotational, and this draws everything in the same direction rather than the opposite direction like we just saw. So I just recommend, trying it out and having fun. I often use the quadrant for centering things in my page, which is really useful. I'm going to turn those off. So to edit drawing guide, just turn the assisted drawing off and then turn canvas off, otherwise it will still draw in all of the spaces. The share button, I normally share my things as PNG, but you've got a few different options there, and you can also export as GIFs, not gifts, GIFs. And then time-lapse replay. will show you everything that you've done on that page so far. That's normally left turned on, and I'd recommend you keep it on because it's quite cool to see the process of your drawing. And then you can also export the time-lapse video. So if you ever see someone on Instagram, for example, having a quick playthrough of their drawing on digital, that will be probably how they do it. Preferences, I haven't really gone through those. Again, if you're interested, I just recommend you go through. And then help is just where you can get help from Procreate and a bit of extra information. Then we've got the adjustments. So I'm going to add a little bit of colour to the page. So when you go into the adjustments, you can adjust the opacity, which you can also do in the layers here, but you can adjust it here as well. So you can take it all the way down so it's not there, like in between, just however you want it. Gaussian blur, we literally can blend the colours together, which is really cool. And then there's a few different options. So you can go through and have a play around with these. Liquify is really fun. You can push things, you can twirl things, expand, and there's different like settings and pressures you can put here as well. Reconstruct, which will kind of take it back to how it was before, and then you can just reset if you want to start again. So yeah, have fun with this. It's really, really fun to play around with. This is your selector tool, so you can go in and select from a layer and then move things. If you just select, you can then copy and paste, and that will duplicate whatever you've just done. So copy and paste was 3 fingers swipe down. 4 fingers tapped gets rid of your toolbar, so you've got a full workspace. Now over to this side where we've got the brushes. I personally love the round brush, but there's so many options on here that you can go through and have a look at. A little tip, click on the brush that you like and play around with the settings inside. I have my streamline all the way up, so for example, if I turn it all the way down and click done, it's just not perfect, even though I feel like I'm doing it smooth. It's just not very smooth, you see? So turning streamline all the way up is going to allow you to have a really smooth line, which is so, so helpful. Another tip with the brushes, if you draw a circle, for example, hold your pencil still when you've done that circle and it will bring up an edit shape. You can then turn it into a circle or quadrilateral, whatever it thinks you're trying to draw, it will bring up. So for example, if I want to draw a square, it will bring up that edit shape and bring up anything that it thinks you're trying to draw. And the same with straight lines, arches, it will do the same for triangles. There are certain shapes it will kind of just go back to, it just doesn't recognise. But straight lines, just draw your line, your arc, whatever, hold, and you can also move it around as well, which is super useful. Or you can have the drawing guide on to help you draw straight lines again. This is your smudge brush. It has all of the brush options, and you can change the size of it over here. In fact, you can change anything here, over here. This is the size adjuster and this is the opacity adjuster. I like to have a light blend, and then you can adjust the size here. And the smaller your brush, the more light your blend can be. So you could go right in and blend out the corners. Again, the brush takes a little bit of getting used to. It's not my preferred way to blend. I normally use the Gaussian blur, but some people love it, and you can just blend colours into each other as well, which is really cool. And then the eraser, you also have brush options, and then you can adjust over here. This is your layers. Just click the plus and it will give you another layer. You can also rename your layer, and you can do other settings here as well. The little N you can adjust within the layer, so you can adjust the opacity and just change things up a bit. You can have a play around with all of these settings. I haven't really gone into them that much. And then the little ticks get rid of layers or hides them. And the same with background. You can hide the background completely or click the background and change the colour. For making stickers, I don't want that background. I want just the shape of what I'm drawing. And then this is your colour wheel. I normally use the classic, but you've got the option of disc, classic, harmony, value, and palettes. So palettes is where you can click and drop colours. So if you're using a colour that you like, in your default palette, which you just click select default, it will bring it up down here. And you can then tap your colour in if you're using the same colours. The classic I find really useful because you can slide your colours as if it's a wheel here, and then I just move it around wherever I want, and then you can go in a bit more and adjust slightly more precisely with these. Harmony is great if you're not sure what colour to use. So if, for example, I'm using this blue right now, this red is apparently going to complement that colour really well. So if you're stuck on what to do, I really recommend that you use Harmony. I use it quite a lot if I've got a simple illustration and I just want to add a few pops of colour. I want to make sure they work well. Sometimes it's fine, but sometimes this is really great. Value, I haven't gone in too much, but again, you can just kind of adjust the colour that you're using, and then again, palettes, what I said before. So now I'm just going to show you something quite funky, which I found really useful. I'm actually going to delete my layer. So just to delete, I'm going to swipe across to the left, click delete. You can also duplicate here as well. So you can repeat layers and lock layers so that nothing happens to them. I'm going to change my background to white. I'm going to fill in the whole layer in that purple. I'm going to click mask, and I'm then going to fill that layer in black, which is actually going to turn it white, strangely. I'm then going to change to white, and I'm going to choose the calligraphy brush, script brush, and I'm just going to write. I'm going to write my name because why not? And as you can see, it actually brings up purple from underneath. Now the mask is really cool because you can create patterns underneath, anything underneath, and then you can write or draw over the top and it will bring that colour through, which is such a lovely thing to do. You can also do it by adding a layer of white above and use the eraser, which kind of does the same thing, but I find this a little bit more fancy. And if you have an Apple Pencil, things like calligraphy are going to be amazing for you because they have pressure sensitivity. So the lighter you press, the thinner the line, and the harder you press, the thicker the line. It's just really fun to play around with. If you don't have an Apple Pencil, you can just draw normally, and then, so my round brush I actually have set so it doesn't have pressure sensitivity. And to do that, you just go into the brush settings, into the Apple Pencil settings, and you can adjust the settings here. Again, just something you can play around with. So yeah, that's a really cool one. I just thought I'd pop in there because I find it really, really helpful. That is everything that I'd like to say in this video. I know it was really basic, but again, I said I'm not a pro. This isn't any kind of fancy things you can do in Procreate. It's just the basics if you're starting out and you're not sure where to start. Things that I just found helpful, especially like making shapes perfect, blending colours, just having fun really. It's a really fun app and I really recommend you play around with it and just have a go with it. It's really, really worth it. Yeah, I hope you found it helpful. That is kind of what I've learned on Procreate over the last year and a half. I'm sure there is much more to learn and there are very funky and cool things that people do that I'm sure there's videos on. But yeah, I'm still learning, but I thought it'd be good to share what I've learned so far. I really hope you enjoyed it and found it helpful. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!